in Signal Hill. According to Chairman Otis Noel, it's all about transformation.
Symbol of relevance, modernity, and of course resilience. Developed primarily in-house, started a while ago through a competition, and it morphed into some retouching, and I think that the team in-house came with this concept.
As part of TITL's transformation, it is facilitating the ease of doing business. To this end, they are in the process of establishing a new platform. Secretary of Education Zorisha Hackett said, TITL's rebranding strengthens Tobago present on the global market. So listen to this, viewers.
It says that when Tobago talks about innovation, it will be in results delivered, in CRM systems that streamline public services, in omni-channel contact centers that connect citizens seamlessly, e-commerce platforms that help local businesses go global, and of course, in ICT training that turns curiosity into careers.
So viewers, TITL's Chief Executive Officer Ian Williams said the company, recognizing the impact of artificial intelligence and its call for adoption, is being intentional about incorporating this into its operation. Ian.
Adaptation means preparing a workforce. That workforce is Tobago, and we are preparing them to survive and thrive in a digital economy. Through our STEM Academy, our contact center, and digital training programs, we are empowering people with the tools to understand, interact, and harness AI responsibly.
So viewers, the company is also offering 3D tours of its space and is exploring technologies to assist Tobago differently able population and the introduction of a tech incubator program. So viewers, altogether the Tobago Information Technology Limited, they are going AI, and they are planning to make it easier for the citizens of Tobago, even the differently able population in Tobago. So we want to congratulate them on the bold move that they are making and wish them the best in the coming future. Staying in Tobago, a Tobago accident survivor, Thomas Orr, is calling for the honest following of a tragic car crash that killed his wife, Marjorie Harry, on Saturday. The couple was on their way to a prayer event when their vehicle was struck at an intersection, sending them plunging into the Richmond River. Marjorie, a beloved mother, grandmother, and spiritual leader, died at the hospital. Or, who survived with minor injuries, despite the official police report, which stated both crash moved off at the same time, leading to the collision. Despite his grief, Mr. Orr said he bears no hatred for the other driver, but insists that the truth must come out, stating wrong is wrong. The couple was in Tobago for a church outing and birthday celebration. Mr. Orr, learning of his fate and church community, says he will find the strength to move forward. Again, we want to wish him all the best in that strength. God is good. So as we continue our program tonight, viewers, Rural Development and Local Government Minister Khatija Amin has rejected statements by former Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan that the Unemployment Relief Program, the URP, was more efficient and less corrupt under the former PNM administration. On a statement, the line minister for URP said, Sinanan has not yet received the memo. The Blame UNC card has officially expired. She claimed Sinanan has not yet accepted full responsibility for the state in which the URP was left. Claimed years of political interference, weak oversight, and mismanagement were allowed to flourish under Sinanan leadership. She challenged Sinanan claims of reduced expenditure. Said reduced spending does not equate to improved performance. In a statement on August 4th, Sinanan rejected claim by and other government officials about corruption, overspending, and political interference in the URP under the PNM. So Trinidad and Tobago, CEPEP and URP are presently being audited. They are being looked into for corruption, criminal elements, as they say, but yet we are to see some of these criminal elements, companies or names of individuals who they say are criminal elements. Now I'll tell you something. Tens of thousands of people on the breadline. Yes, we understand that according to Barry, the UNC MP, that there is criminal elements within the work. Gang leaders getting contracts. Criminal individual getting contracts. So what they are doing is they are cutting the ties of government funding to criminal elements in society. So what I told Barry, I said what I would love to see in the public domain is contractors' name. Who are criminal elements? Talk of the town is that the UNC is in office for almost 100 days and no performance. 100 days close and no performance from the UNC. Not even a word as to when the CEPEP or the URP program will be back on stream. So it's thousands of people on the breadline. Thousands. And what do we want to see? We want to see people being employed. That is what we want to see. We want to see the reason why URP and Forestry Division and CEPEP is down. The people want to know why. Yes, you come out in the parliament and say, well, okay, criminal figures are getting contracts and we are cutting government funding to criminal elements. But highlight the criminal element companies. This is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. Now, they say the police are investigating. How long is that going to take? How long? But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago will be waiting to see what is taking place in the coming weeks. Keep in mind, 10,000 people are on the breadline. Keep that in mind. Moving along, former Youth and Development Minister Forster Cummins has criticized government for shutting down key youth programs such as MyLat, MyPath, and the CCC, leaving young people without support and staff unemployed. So I want to ask Forster Cummins, who actually shut down these programs? Who actually shut down these programs? Cummins. Instead of blaming the UNC for shutting down these programs, I want you, Forster Cummins, to come out and tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago what program did the PNM shut down from 2015 to 2025. This is what I want you to come out and tell the citizens. Now, Forster, he denied claim that the previous PNM administration intend to close them, stating they were only under review. Forster.
That will have to be a government policy in terms of, I know that there is a discussion that we are having right now in terms of where do we go with respect to the administration of the company, hirings, etc. So those things.
Fortunately, we are in this situation. I ask the parents and the young people to call on the government to reinstitute these programs forthwith for the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. It cannot be the opposition alone speaking. Parents, speak up and speak out because it is affecting the future of Trinidad and Tobago.
Things are a bit.
Fortunately, we are in this situation.
So Trinidad and Tobago can foster Cummins, a previous MP, come out and tell citizens what programs for youth that they shut down. Cummins also raised concerns over the neglect youth agriculture programs where staff were dismissed and field were left abandoned. Couple of man foster man, use a big man. Do a little boy game. The government, the present administration has only been in power less than 100 days. The only thing they have shut down thus far is the European CEPEP, where they claim is corruption taking place. So Foster, who was responsible now under your administration, who was responsible for youth agriculture program. He warned that the collapse of these initiatives could increase equality and crime and urge the public to demand their revival. First, let me tell you something. Don't hide behind the citizens of Trinidad. Don't do that. Don't tell the citizens of this country to demand anything. Don't push that narrative that, you know what, I will tell the people of Trinidad to demand. No, you can't tell the citizens to demand nothing because you actually did nothing in your tenure. Nothing. It's sad, you know, for so that you demanding the people to demand their revival. Demand what? How long were you there for? What you did? What all you did for agriculture? Let me start with agriculture. What you did for agriculture before you go to the youth agriculture program. Kate Rowley introduced an agriculture module, right? He want to go Guyana to introduce that. Why all didn't do it in Trinidad? Save the agriculture in Trinidad. For 9 long years, farmers have been complaining. Agriculture have been on the decline. But what you're telling the citizens to do, Foster? To demand revival? Nah, you should have tell Rowley that. You should have tell Dr. Rowley that. You should have demand Dr. Rowley to revive the agriculture in Trinidad and Tobago instead of going Guyana to show them a module about agriculture. It's sad. It's sad. You cannot do it in your own country, but you want to help our next country. Yeah, look good, yes? Real good. So Trinidad and Tobago is that time now where we go for a short commercial break. But when we come back, no date on the start of CEPEP after this.
We'll be right back.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over
with upfront interest.
Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Remember, viewers, we at Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on our fixed deposit. Remember, we are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is offering 5% on our fixed deposit with your interest up front. So you don't have to wait 5 years for your fixed deposit to mature and then collect your interest. No, we are doing the opposite. You are getting your interest up front when you open a fixed deposit at Real Talk Financing. Remember that, viewers. Remember that. I also encourage those of you who want to open a savings account, buy shares at Real Talk Credit Union. Remember, you plant that seed today and you will watch that tree grow. So later on, you can pick the fruits of that tree. So remember, viewers, only at Real Talk Financing, you will get interest up front. Also, be a member of the credit union. Plant that seed today. Put away our savings today. So later on, viewers, you could get a loan. And the way things going now, trust me, you need to make investment. Don't work for your money. Let your money work for you. You've already accomplished that. You've already accomplished a lump sum. Now it's time for your money to work for you. Like I said, I've been in this business for over 30 years, viewers. My knowledge in finance and accounts, trust me, it's way, way, way up the road, as one would say. So back to our news tonight. Minister of Public Utilities, Barry Bazarat, has instructed CEPEP's new board to shut down its operation, dismissing social media rumors. However, he could not provide a timeline for when the company will rehire workers, nothing that CEPEP remains under review. So viewers, the company is under review. In fact, Bazarat revealed that the board has requested 6 months to complete financial audit covering the 7-year span. Ask about the estimated 10,000 workers on the breadline following the government termination of more than 360 contractors. Bazarat said that will have to be a government policy. Listen to this.
will have to be a government policy in terms of, I know that there is a discussion that we are having right now in terms of where do we go with respect to the administration of the company, hirings, etc. So those things are a bit off in terms of the immediate future of CEPEP.
Ask what message he has for the former CEPEP workers who are looking forward to being reabsorbed by the company. Padarat said, the government is looking at how we can create more sustainable jobs. So Trinidad and Tobago, I hope that Barry and his team could come up with something really fast to assist the 10,000 individuals that are presently on the breadline. We understand that they want to fix the corruption. We understand that they want to cut government funding to criminal elements. We understand all this. But in doing so, you need to create something else for the 10,000 workers. So while the CEPEP is being investigated for 6 months, according to the board, they want that time frame to do audit. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. But you need to put something in place to absorb these 10,000 workers. Now, it's supposed to be a program where individual would probably adapt a skill and from here move on into the real working life. But nevertheless, you all don't want to be labeled as the UNC government who put 10,000 people on the breadline. Remember, at the end of this 5 years, you all want another 5 years. So Barry, you and your team, kindly put something in place fast. So this 10,000 individuals could put food on the table. Please, I am begging, I am asking on behalf of the 10,000 CEPEP workers. They have family to feed. Remember that, Barry. They have family to feed. Switching gears, Trinidad and Tobago. The American Chamber of Commerce, AmCham, TT, has said it notes with concerns the recent report regarding to the potential requirement by the U.S. State of Department for certain visa applicants to post bond up to $15,000 US to enter the United States. AmCham believes that such a policy should not apply to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who have constantly demonstrated compliance with the US visa conditions. The statement points out that according to the US Department of Homeland Security, FY 2023 Entry and Exit Overstay Report, Appendix C, Trinidad and Tobago overstay rate remains one of the lowest in the region at just 2.43%. AmCham, TT says this is a clear indication that Trinidad and Tobago citizens respect the U.S. immigration rules and remain committed to working with the stakeholders to promote transparency, secure and mutual beneficial travel and business exchange between Trinidad and Tobago and the United States. Meanwhile, Shoguna's Chamber of Industry and Commerce President Balad Maraj has expressed concern over the proposed visa bond policy. He said, this can have many effects when it comes to tourism or even family visit. Listen to this.
When you add that to the recent tariff increases and the tougher visa renewal process, you're looking at a situation where regular business travel, family visits, even basic tourism becomes much more difficult. So for many of our SMEs who rely on the US trade and partnership, this could also be a setback. It's not just businesses either. This could affect family ties, tourism, and cultural exchanges.
So Trinidad and Tobago, Maraj also stated that this will have a rippling effect even on the airlines. Listen to Maraj one more time.
I think that have always helped strengthen our region's relationship with the US. There's also the ripple effect on the airline industry. If fewer people could afford to travel, of course, airline flying between these countries could start seeing a reduction in passengers or probably losses. That could mean fewer flights, higher ticket prices for those who go, and even a shift to alternate routes through other countries just to be viable. As a chamber, we are staying focused on ensuring that our members, especially SMEs, aren't locked out of the opportunities because of policies like this.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, let's just hope that things will turn a little for the better for our citizens in the United States. Let me tell you something. If this happens, it is going to be very hard. Very, very hard. Because many citizens in Trinidad and Tobago would love to go to the US to work for 5 months or even 3 months and come back with a little dollars in their pocket, you know, $650, $750 to $1 US. At least they will have a little savings account. So we should see. But nevertheless, we hope the best in that department. Also, the Trinidad and Tobago is not currently classified by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, as a country with a high rate of visa overstays, according to the fiscal year 2024 Entry-Exit Overstay Report. The country reduced a record of 0.70% overstay rate for the business and tourist visitors in 2023. However, the US is expected to publish a list identifying countries whose citizens may be required to pay a visa bond for up to $15,000 under a new 12-month pilot program. This measure targets countries with high overstay rates, poor document security, or citizenship by investment program. The bond requirement may be waived based on individual circumstances. So Trinidad and Tobago, again I say, let's just hope that this country, Trinidad and Tobago, doesn't fall under that program. Otherwise, many of us who have a dream of going to the US to work and stay, or maybe to marry, or maybe to do investments, we're going to be thinking twice before we go there. So, as I say, let's hope the best comes out from this according to the US Department. We are going for a short commercial break, viewers, but when we come back, US Navy hospital ship brings relief. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over
with upfront interest.
Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So, the USNS Comfort Hospital Navy ship has arrived in Trinidad and Tobago ahead of its week-long service or series of free medical, dental, veterinarian, and biomedical clinic. The visit is being conducted in partnership with the Ministry of Health under the U.S. Southern Command of Humanitarian Assistance Program. Non-complex surgeries will be offered to selected citizens on board the USNS Comfort on the recommendation of the regional health authorities. The director at the Ministry of Health, Anita Sohan, said the assistance from the USNS vessel will assist in relieving some of the backlog on certain surgeries.
We're doing minor surgeries on board the Comfort, which is really exciting. The surgeries itself for all patients, they're being selected through the Ministry of Health. Use cataracts, we're doing some hernia removal, lumps and bumps removal, pterygium, gallbladder. We're keeping it simple.
Senior defense officials, U.S. Embassy in Port of Spain, Captain Gideon T. said in its 16th mission, approximately 1,000 USNS Comfort personnel will conduct a 3-day walk-in clinic offering free medical service at the National Academy of the Performing Arts in Port of Spain.
This is a free service of adult medical, pediatric, optical, dental, physical therapy. This is the most beautiful part of what America can provide. This is
so Trinidad and Tobago take advantage of the situation. This is what I can see. Some of the surgeries that could not be done in the hospitals, hopefully these individuals will get through on the free medical. For those of you who qualified for it, I'm going to tell you something. It's one way to know. Go up, as they say, walk up to the counter, give them your information, and see if you qualify for something like this. If you qualified, all well and good. If not, well, I guess you will just have to wait until further notice and wording from your doctor at your hospital. Moving along. On Tuesday, iGovTT, along with Public Administration and AI Minister Dominic Alexander Smith, launches ANISA, a groundbreaking AI-powered digital assistant aims to making government service in the country accessible, simple, and available 24/7. Minister Smith described the launch as a new social contract or contact between the government and the citizens. Listen to this.
Government exists not for its own convenience, but in service to people. Our Nancy will be the bridge between citizens and state, the translator of complexity into simplicity, the guide who ensures that every person can navigate government services with confidence and with ease. And importantly, colleagues would have mentioned, trust is the cornerstone of democracy. Transparency is inextricably linked to trust, and that is what Anansi will bring to the forefront.
He says the government agenda, as it relates to digital evolution, is about improving already made solution, as he describes the goal. Listen to this.
It's about reimagining the fundamental relationship between state and citizen. We envision a situation and circumstance where a mother can renew her driver's license at her lunch break, where a small business owner can access a permit without a day off from work. I know every single person here sitting down can attest to the fact that, well, boss, I need a day off to deal with this particular issue. Gone are those days where technology can actually be used as fit for purpose. Importantly or vulnerable, where our elderly can get answers to questions without leaving their homes, and where every person, regardless of their technology literacy, economic status, or physical ability, can access government services.
So Trinidad and Tobago, named after the iconic West African Caribbean folklore character known for wisdom and problem solving. And this embodies the spirit of innovation, culture. Listen more, viewers.
We wanted to create one that has a wellspring of cultural tapestry, a cultural heritage. Anansi is a traditional character, carried across many oceans, woven in the very fabric of Caribbean identity. It's far more than folklore. It represents the triumph of intelligence over brute force, wisdom over power, and ingenuity over impossibility. Our ancestors, it's quite fitting that we just celebrated emancipation. Our ancestors understood that Anansi was a clever guide who revealed hidden truths and made the impossible possible.
Let's hope it becomes something big in Trinidad and Tobago. That is all we can see. Now, I'll tell you something. AI is moving forward. Technology is moving forward. Company upgraded to AI is moving forward. What we need is teachers to show the older folks how easy it is accessible. Because many older folks rather go into the bank because they don't know much about the card system. So they would go into the bank and do their transaction rather than using a card. Nowadays, technology is evolving. And we need someone to show the older folks how fast technology is increasing in the world today. But hopefully, we'll have some schools in Trinidad and Tobago bringing out AI classes for those who want to learn. Moving along. The Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago has announced a medium-term plan to advocate for new legislation addressing sexual harassment in the workplace. The initiatives follow a well-attended webinar held on July 30th, which drew over 230 legal and HR professionals. LATT aims to collaborate with stakeholders to draft legislation aligned with international standard and launch a public awareness campaign to build support. The association will also offer continued training for attorneys to develop a model policy on sexual harassment and reinforce that such misconduct continues. Now, a breach of the Legal Profession Code of Ethics. The disciplinary committee retains the authority to investigate and sanction attorneys for unprofessional behavior. LATT reaffirmed its commitment to fostering a safer, respectful legal profession with zero tolerance for harassment. So Trinidad and Tobago, let's see how far that will go in our country. Let's see how far that will go in Trinidad and Tobago. Is all I can say. Remember, this is Trinidad. This is Tobago. We know how things run. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, TTSEC, has launched a preliminary investigation into Trillium System Limited, a company that has collected millions from the public while promising large investment return. In a public note, the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange Company warned that Trillium System and its promoters may be offering crypto asset investment without the required registration. The commissions clarified that the company is not registered with the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange Company in any capacity and emphasized that the investigation is still in its early stage with no final finding of wrongdoing yet. So Trinidad and Tobago, that is all we can say concerning that at the moment. So we are going for a short commercial break, but we'll be right back after this.
We'll be right back.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over
with upfront interest.
Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, it's Tuesday. It's Tune It Up Tuesday. And we save the best for last. You know, as they say, you save the best for last. So we have 15 minutes on our program again, Trinidad and Tobago. But listen to this, Listen to this. Former Minister of Energy, Stuart Young, has called on the population to be cautious of the government handling of former Petrotrin refinery. Stuart calling out the population, All right, good. He said the previous government, which is the PNM, has dealt with the matter with transparency. What transparency? I wonder if Stuart Young understands the word of transparency. Let me tell you something. When Stuart Young was the former Minister of Energy, this government paid Venezuela $1 million US. What did we get in return for the Dragon gas deal? What did we get in return? But Stuart Young talking about transparency. And because of non-disclosure, and because of non-disclosure, and non-disclosure, and non-disclosure, $1 million US to Venezuela. What did we got in return, Stuarty? Come on, tell the citizens what we got in return. Nothing as yet. And Venezuela inherited $1 million US. While I being a businessman in Trinidad and Tobago, had to go and line up 7:30 in front of the bank to get 200 US to do business for my company. Maduro government got $1 million US. But you want to talk about transparency? Okay, we're going on again. Young said the facility would cost billions to restart. Listen to Young, we will talk after.
Cautioning Trinidad and Tobago, look very closely at what happens with the refinery, because the previous administration went through proper processes, open tenders, open evaluations, but what we're seeing taking place now with the setting up of a committee in silence and all of a sudden hiding under confidentiality, the procurement and the disposal of these state assets, in particular the refinery, must be carefully looked at, because it is going to cost billions of dollars to restart that refinery. And we were clear, anyone who had the wherewithal, the money to do it, as well as the crude oil as the input, come and talk. Come and talk.
Stuart Young supposed to be the last one. Or he's supposed to be the one zipping his mouth concerning the refinery. We had a bidder from India, Jindal. What was he charging his country with? Corruption. We have Orlando. What is he facing? What charges? Corruption. But they talk about transparency. What did Dr. Keith Rowley said? My government, I want to remind all you, hence the reason why I said Stuart Young should zip his mouth coming to the refinery. Stuart Young government said, the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, former, said, my government is not shutting down the refinery. Who took the decision to shut down the refinery? The PNM cabinet. All you forget, you know what? I am just here to remind you all. So Stuart Young should be the last person or even the person zipping his mouth concerning the refinery. I told earlier, I saved the best for last. Do you all remember when Rowley said the government was not closing down the refinery? Just to remind all you, listen to this.
The government is not closing down Petrotrin. And in case you were just opening your fridge and you didn't hear that when you closed the door, let me repeat it. The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
You know what I said? They restructured it and 5,000 people went home. 5,000 people plus after they restructure it. Imagine that, eh? But you want to come and tell the citizens to be cautious of the government handling of the Petrotrin refinery. Cautious in what way? The amount of non-disclosure earlier signed. The amount of individuals come forward and make bids. Jindal, charged for corruption is in his country, India. Orlando, financial loss, cook the books as one would say, charged for corruption in his country. But Stuart, these are the people who they wanted to give the refinery to run, you know. But Stuart Young now telling the citizens, be careful. Maduro government got $1 million US. For what? Could Stuart Young come out and say what we got for the million? And then wanted to continue payments now. I believe telling the UNC now to continue payment to Maduro. For what exactly? What exactly? We were doing business with a sanctioned country. What we could have gotten was sanctioned. They may go come out and tell all of that. I will tell all of that. But nevertheless, listen to this. Young also said the asset of the refinery and procurement by the state must be carefully looked at. He further noted that in the last 9 years, the PNM administration has also placed Trinidad and Tobago ahead in the region and the Western Hemisphere. Listen to this.
It is just to remind Trinidad and Tobago that all of the work that was done in this sector, that is really done at a global level, was done in the last 9.5 years in a very competitive and a very complex environment. Unfortunately, this party, the PNM, always does what is best for Trinidad and Tobago. So I am happy to say that today what we're seeing, and we will continue to see over the next couple years, the benefits and the coming home of the work that was done by our administration. And this is very, very easy to fact check.
Don't I like how we say that in the coming years we're going to see? See what? We already seen the Venezuelan government inherit $1 million US. We ain't seen no production out of that. We ain't seen no benefit out of it. All we know is the businessman in Trinidad cannot get US, while the Maduro government inherited $1 million US. For what? For what? What's the purpose? But nevertheless, listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this. He said that one of the major items achieved that kept the treasury afloat till date was the restructuring of Atlantic LNG. Listen to Stuart.
I am happy to say that one of the main items that we achieved that is actually keeping the treasury afloat today is the restructuring of Atlantic LNG, and in particular, the foresight and the ability to negotiate better gas prices for Trinidad and Tobago's gas. So what we're seeing today, and without a shadow of a doubt, and it cannot be contradicted, is the benefit of the work that we achieved and the gas prices that we achieved and put in place.
He talk about better gas price. You talk about keeping the treasury afloat. How many times Dr. Rowley told the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, tighten your belt. Or let's say something. Tighten your belt. Or let's say something. Tighten your belt. We have no money. Until he said, "All better wean off the government, you know." Yeah, final words. Wean off the government. That was Stuart Young said. But coming up to the last of the PNM, Marvin Gonzalez said to Trinidad and Tobago, "You will carry out your children one time for the month. And you might make macaroni pie once for the month." But Stuart Young talking about a float. So when they raised Salary Review Commission, when they checked back and saw that the works of the PNM administration and keeping the country running, SRC, Salary Review Commission, decided to raise the salary. Some got 40, some got 50, some got 60%, while the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the public servant, begging for negotiation for the 4%. All forget. So when you hear ministers like Stuart Young come and they keep our briefing, I'll be like, wow, look at these dudes and them, they forgot. I want to remind all of something. Ministers in the cabinet, when you vote in a party, you vote in an individual to get tax break. You vote in an individual to get exempted. You vote in an individual to lift your community. That is what you vote in a party to do. You already know that. But in the coming days, I will reveal things to you all. Stuart Young got an increase in salary. Dr. Rowley got an increase in salary. Marvin got an increase in salary. And all of the public servants begging to keep negotiation for your 4%. But apparently Stuart Young forget that. Like I said, Trinidad and Tobago, it's a hand on UNC PNM with me, you know. I will hold them accountable for their office. You know why? They decide to put themselves up for election. And who will hold them accountable? I will put them on the spot on national television live, because I ain't depending on nobody to run an ad on Real Talk with Saieed Ali to keep our afloat or to keep the program running. No, I doing that myself. Hence the reason why I just educate you all about the ministers and the councillors in your community. While they're getting government money, all they had to beg. But nevertheless, we're going to keep a little juice for another night. As they say, the Balajia's juice. Nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we have come to the end of our program tonight. We run tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. and then another night for another show as we go live. Until then, be safe.